Hi everybody, it's Casey Williams. Well, until recently, if you wanted an efficient mid-sized Mercedes, you had to buy a diesel. And none of those are more famous than the 1980s 300D, the turbo diesel. And they were cool looking cars. But you can see those cars going down the road with the smog coming out the back of them. Fortunately, here in the 21st century, Mercedes has a much better idea. It's the 2023 Mercedes EQE 350. Let's go have a look at it. Unlike those old diesels with their big chrome grills and star on the hood, the EQE is one of the most aerodynamically efficient cars Mercedes ever put on the road. And you can really tell from the front of it. I mean, there is virtually no chrome in this car except for just a little detailing down below. And all you see is just a sweeping expanse of sheet metal and glass. I think it's very pretty. Very sleek in the front. Of course, star in the center for the sport grille. But if you look closer, there's also these little stars here in the valence too. I think it looks really cool with the traditional Mercedes logo here on the hood. Got the digital lighting. Millions of pixels. Very cool, I'll show you in a minute, but there's a lane change assist. And I was driving the other morning, it was dark outside, and put it on, and it actually paints light onto the road to show you what the car is getting ready to do. I thought that was really cool as well. You come around the side, and you really start to see the expanse of this car and how big and long it is. 20-inch alloy wheels, looks really sporty, looks cool. But the styling, kind of reminds you of more like the CLS, kind of a four-door coupe. I think it looks really good. It's a tall car, it's a wide car, it's a very long car, lots of interior space. The rear seats have lots of space in the back. Coming around, I like the door handles. You gotta have some gadgetry somewhere. They actually pop out when you approach the car. And again, kind of Mercedes new look, just very sleek, gotten rid of some of the old style in the past. The rear diffuser down below. But again, I like it. It looks very purposeful, looks like it's shaped by the wind, and definitely looks like a very 21st century Mercedes. There's a surprising amount of trunk space for the car too. Again, this is kind of the mid-sized executive series, but there's plenty of space in here to get, for people to get their luggage in here and get away for a week. The EQE is obviously beautifully designed, but driving is where the real beauty lies. It's really smooth, lithium-ion batteries. This one has all-wheel drive, so it's dual motors. It's just very quick and very smooth. So the 350 has 288 horsepower. It does 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. So that's not ungodly quick, but it's quick enough for a mid-sized sedan. If you need more, there is the EQE 500. That has 402 horsepower and considerably faster as well. So range on this, it gives me a range right now, 100% between 220 and 260 miles. I've been seeing about 240 miles. Again, I got out on the interstate, drove it in town. Somewhere around that 240 miles is what I've been seeing as far as range goes. If you get the EQE 500, you can get more like 300 miles. So there's get the bigger battery pack, you get more power and also more range. But I think this is fine. It serves most people the way it needs to. Recharging is pretty easy plug right in, quick charging. So you can do 10 to 80% charge in 30 minutes on a DC quick charger. If you want to do full charge on 240 volt, like on a home charger, that's going to take you about 9.5 hours. So you're going to do that overnight. But I think that's right there. It's very competitive. So other things this car has, and things you notice when you're driving, is it's just very tight suspension. Handles well. It's a much heavier car than a standard E-Class, and you can feel that in the weight a little bit, but it also kind of helps it hug the road a little bit. The other thing it has is it has rear wheel steering. So when you're parking, it'll turn about 10 degrees, so it gives you just a real sharp steering. Feels more like a compact car when you're driving it. But when you're on the highway, it turns the wheels in the same direction, so it just feels very stable and maintains stability on the road. But overall, I think for a car to get 4 to 5 people inside of it, I think it's very nice, and I've certainly enjoyed driving it this week. So the thing that might surprise you is the pricing, inflation adjusted, is not terribly different than those old Mercedes diesels were, even back in the 1980s. So the EQE starts at $74,900. The EQE 4MATIC, the all-wheel drive version of it, starts at $77,900. And again, if you inflation adjust some of those old cars, they are about $70,000 cars in today's money. So, not a cheap car, but certainly competitive for what this car offers. Well, next week, another fun car. Until then, storm forward.